turned to Abeni, her glowing eyes filled with anger. "Make your choice now," she commanded. "Take his life or suffer my wrath." Ayotunde stepped forward, his voice steady. "I am ready." Abeni's heart shattered. "No, I will not kill him." The queen let out a wicked laugh. "Then suffer." She whispered an incantation, and suddenly Ayotunde's face went blank. Abeni's eyes widened in horror. "What did you do?"
First of all, if you've not yet subscribed to this channel, do hit that subscribe button, like, share, and also leave a comment. Thank you.
A long time ago, in the peaceful Yoruba village of Ile-Apon, life was simple. The people farmed, traded, and gathered at the market to buy and sell. The village had many beautiful maidens, and young men as well as old men often chased after them. Among these men were the wealthy chiefs, powerful men who believed their money could buy anything, even love. One of these chiefs was Baba Agbede. He had 5 wives, but that didn't stop him from chasing after young girls. Many times, he promised them riches in exchange for their bodies. Some fell for his lies, others refused. But now, Baba Agbede had his eyes on the most beautiful maiden in the village, Morayo. One market day, Baba Agbede saw Morayo buying vegetables. He walked up to her with a wide smile. "Ah, Morayo, my flower, how are you today?" he asked, rubbing his pot belly. Morayo greeted him respectfully. "I'm fine, Baba Agbede." Good, good. See, I have been watching you. You are a very special girl. Come and be my wife. Anything you want, I will give you. Gold, fine wrappers, even servants to carry your baskets." Morayo smiled politely but shook her head. "Thank you, Baba Agbede, but I am not interested." The chief's face darkened. "Eh? You are rejecting me?" "Forgive me, Baba, but I cannot accept." Baba Agbede was not used to being refused. He tried again and again, offering his wealth and comfort, but Morayo stood firm. Soon, his admiration turned into anger. "You will regret this," he muttered to himself as he stormed away. That night, he called his most trusted guards. "I want you to bring me Morayo. Make sure no one sees you." The men did as they were told. Under the cover of darkness, they snatched Morayo from her home and took her to the chief's palace. Her screams were swallowed by the night. By morning, Morayo was dead. Baba Agbede had taken what he wanted, and to keep his secret safe, he buried her deep in the forest. Days passed, then weeks. The village searched for Morayo, but she was nowhere to be found. Even the chief priest, Baba Ifagbami, was consulted. But after his incantation, he shook his head. The gods are silent. Her whereabouts cannot be traced. As time passed, the village forgot about Morayo. Then, 1 year later, on a bright market day, a woman appeared. She was the most beautiful woman anyone had ever seen. Her skin glowed like the morning sun, and her eyes sparkled like river water. When she walked, it was as if the wind carried her. Her name was Abeni. Every man turned to stare. By evening, every man in Ile-Apon had heard about the beauty that had visited the market. Many approached her, trying to win her heart, but she only laughed and smiled at them. Before leaving, She promised to return soon, and she did. When Baba Agbede heard about the mysterious beauty, he wasted no time. He sent his guards to bring her to him. When she arrived, Baba Agbede's eyes widened. "Ah, you are more beautiful than the story says." Abeni smiled. "And you, Baba, you have a sweet mouth." Baba Agbede laughed heartily. "Then, be my wife. I will give you everything you desire." Abeni leaned forward, her smile never fading. "I like a man with confidence. I will stay with you tonight." Baba Agbede was overjoyed. That night, he took her into his chambers. By morning, the palace was in chaos. Baba Agbede was dead. His flesh was gone, leaving only bones on his bed. No one saw who was with him that night, but whispers spread. His evil deed has finally caught up with him. The village elders called Baba Ifegbami, the chief priest. "Find out what happened," they ordered. The priest made incantations, but he saw nothing. He hesitated before speaking. "The gods are angry." That is why they remained silent. Unknown to the people, the gods had abandoned Baba Ifegbami long ago. He had covered up Baba Agbede's wickedness too many times, protecting his friend instead of standing for justice. That evening, Abeni returned to the market. She bought her items, then left the village. But something strange happened. As she walked, she reached the big river outside Ile-Apon. Without hesitation, she jumped into the water and disappeared because she was never human. Deep beneath the water, in the marine kingdom, Abeni arrived as a celebrated warrior. The queen of the coast sat on her throne, watching her return. "You have done well," she said. Abeni smiled. He deserved it. He was a wicked man. The queen nodded. "Yes, and now your next task awaits." Abeni frowned slightly. "Who is it?" The queen's eye darkened. "Baba Ifegbami, the chief priest." Abeni hesitated. "But he is the mouth of the gods. Is this not dangerous?" The queen smirked. "The gods had long left him. He is alone." Abeni took a deep breath. Another mission awaited her. The village of Ile-Apon will soon witness another strange and terrifying event. The village of Ile-Apon was still in shock after the sudden and mysterious death of Baba Agbede. Whispers filled the air, and fear crept into the hearts of the people. But before they could recover from one horror, another was about to shake them to their core. Abeni returned to the village, more beautiful than ever. Her skin glowed like moonlight, and her eyes held a deep mystery. This time, she had a new target, Baba Ifegbami, the chief priest. Unlike Baba Agbede, Baba Ifegbami was not an easy man to approach. He was feared and respected. People believed he spoke directly to the gods. But unknown to them, the gods had left him long ago. Abeni knew exactly what to do. One evening, she arrived at the chief priest's shrine. She walked in gently, her voice soft as she greeted him. "Papa, I've heard of your great powers and I seek guidance." Baba Ifegbami looked up and was immediately captivated. "My daughter, what troubles you?" he asked, his eyes never leaving her face. Abeni took a step closer, her voice like a sweet melody. "It is not a trouble, Baba, but a deep longing in my heart." She leaned in, her fingers lightly touching his hand. The old priest felt a strange pull towards her. That night, he fell under her spell, and before dawn, his fate was sealed. By morning, Baba Ifegbami's skeleton was found in his bed, just like Baba Agbede's. Panic spread through Ile-Apon like wildfire. The gods are punishing us, the people cried. But the truth was much darker than they imagined. Back in the Marine Kingdom, Abeni was welcomed with open arms. The Queen of the Coast smiled at her. "You have done well, my daughter," she said. "But your next task is here." Abeni's smile faded. She had always asked what her target had done to deserve death. But this time, the queen refused to tell her. "It is best you do not know," the queen said. Abeni hesitated but nodded. Her next target was a young man named Ayotunde, who was a hunter. Ayotunde was different from the men Abeni had encountered before. He was an orphan who lived with his grandmother, Iyasade. Since childhood, he had been curious about his parents, but his grandmother always avoided the subject. All he knew was the whispers in the village, how his parents had been barren for years until they suddenly had a child. But just 2 years after his birth, they died mysteriously. Despite his tragic past, Ayotunde was well loved in Ile-Apon. He was kind-hearted and focused only on his hunting. He had heard of the mysterious beauty that visited the village, but unlike other men, he wasn't interested. His only focus was hunting, selling his games, and helping those in need. But fate had other plans. One afternoon, after a successful hunt, Ayotunde carried his catch to the market. That was when he saw her. For the first time in his life, he was speechless. Abeni was unlike any woman he had ever seen, but he quickly masked his thoughts and focused on his sales. Abeni, however, had already recognized him as her prey. She walked up to him, her voice smooth and inviting. "How much for your meat?" Ayotunde told her the price and they began talking. Abeni was skilled in charming men, but something about Ayotunde was different. His voice was honest, his eyes pure. He wasn't like the greedy and wicked men she had met before. By the end of their conversation, Abeni suggested something unusual. She would pick up the meat from his home later that evening. Ayotunde hesitated, suggesting they meet elsewhere, but she insisted. That evening, as Abeni walked to his house, something felt different. Unlike before, when she only felt disgust for her victim. This time, she felt something else. She liked Ayotunde. When she arrived, Ayotunde quickly sold her the meat, trying to avoid distractions, but Abeni stopped him. "Tell me about yourself," she asked. Ayotunde found the request strange but agreed. He spoke about his simple life, his dreams of finding true love, and his hope of having a peaceful family someday. Abeni listened closely. She had never imagined such a life. She had only known the sea, the wave, and the power of the marine world. For the first time, she felt something new. Longing. That night, instead of taking his soul, she simply hugged him and left. When Abeni returned to the Marine Kingdom, she was met with anger. The Queen of the Coast stood from her throne, her voice thundering. "Why did you fail your task?" Abeni knelt before her, her heart pounding. He's innocent, my queen. Unlike the others, he has done nothing wrong. The queen's eyes darkened. You think he is innocent? Then let me tell you the truth. Abeni's breath caught in her throat. 20 years ago, the queen began, an old couple came to me begging for a child. I granted their wish under one condition. They must dedicate the child to the marine kingdom after 2 years. Abeni's heart pounded, but they broke their promise. They wanted their son to live free, away from the water spirits. So, as punishment, they were taken. But the boy still belongs to us, and now it is time to claim what is ours. Abeni's mind raced, but he did nothing wrong. His parents made the promise, not him. The queen's face twisted with fury. That does not matter. You must complete your mission, or you will lose your right as my heir. Abeni had never felt fear like this before. She had always been loyal to the marine kingdom, but for the first time, she questioned her duty. Still, she had no choice. The next day, she returned to the village. Ayotunde was surprised but happy to see Abeni again. They spent the day together, talking and laughing. But as the sun began to set, Ayotunde suddenly asked, "Where are you from, Abeni?" Abeni hesitated. She was bound by the laws of the sea. Mermaid must always speak the truth when asked directly. Finally, she whispered, "The water." Ayotunde laughed at first, thinking it was a joke. But when he saw her serious face, he stopped. "You are serious?" Abeni nodded. Slowly, she told him everything about the marine kingdom, her mission and her purpose for coming to him. Ayotunde jumped to his feet, his face filled with shock. "You were sent to kill me?" Abeni grabbed his hands. "Yes, but I won't do it. I love you." Ayotunde's heart raced, but as a brave man, he calmed himself. He had seen many strange things in the forest. He knew there was more to the world than what human understood. Looking into her eyes, he saw the truth. She was telling the truth. And more than that, he loved her too. But love alone could not save him from the wrath of the sea. The weight of the truth pressed heavily on Abeni and Ayotunde. Now that the queen of the coast had ordered his death, they had only two choices: fight or run. But escaping the grasp of the queen was nearly impossible. That evening, as they sat under the moonlight, Abeni removed her necklace and placed it around Ayotunde's neck. "This will protect you from any attack from the water," she said softly. Ayotunde held the pendant between his fingers, feeling a strange warmth. "But what about you?" he asked. Abeni smiled sadly. "I am of the water. My fate is already tied to it." Determined to live a free life together, they decided to leave the village at dawn. Unbeknownst to them, danger was brewing. With the mysterious deaths of Baba Agbede and Baba Ifegbami, the king secretly summoned a powerful Dibia, Olowu, to uncover the truth. Olowu performed his rituals and gasped. "A strange creature walks amongst us," he declared. "A messenger of the queen of the coast, but she is no ordinary servant. She is the next in line to the throne." The elders trembled. "Then we must send her away before her mother's wrath fall upon us," the king said. But Olowu had another plan. "No, my king. If we capture her, she will be of great use to us." The king shook his head. "I will not anger the queen of the coast. Find a way to send her away peacefully, or negotiate with the queen." Olowu bowed in agreement. But in his heart, he plotted. If he could control the daughter of the queen of the coast, he would have limitless power. As Ayotunde and Abeni stepped out of the house that morning, preparing to leave, they were met with torches and weapons. The villagers had surrounded them, and at the front stood Olohun with his eyes glowing with dark intent. Abeni's heart pounded. What's the meaning of this? Olohun smirked. You have deceived this village long enough. Before they could react, he blew a strange powder into Abeni's face. A strong wind whirled around her, and suddenly she collapsed. Before everyone's eyes, her leg vanished, replaced by a shimmering silver tail. Gasps of horror filled the air. A mermaid, someone screamed. Olohun grinned. She is a servant of the water, and now she has only a few minutes before she dies. Abeni gasped for air, her gills struggling. She needed water. But Olohun continued, I can help you. Come with me to my shrine, and you will live. Ayotunde's heart pounded. He could see the pain in Abeni's eyes. Without a second thought, he lifted her into his arms and ran. Ayotunde ran as fast as his legs could carry him. His only goal, to reach the river before it was too late. Behind him, the villagers chased with weapons, and Olohun followed, his staff glowing with dark magic. Abeni's breathing weakened. Ayo, I can't. Hold on, he whispered. With one final sprint, he reached the river bank and threw her into the water. The moment her body touched the river, the sky darkened and thunder rumbled. From beneath the waters, a glowing figure arose. The queen of the coast had arrived. Olohun stumbled backward in fear, but before he could react, a bolt of lightning struck him where he stood. The villagers screamed and ran for their lives, leaving only Ayotunde, Abeni, and the furious queen. The queen turned to Abeni, her eyes glowing with anger. Make your choice now, she commanded. Take his life or suffer my wrath. Ayotunde stepped forward, his voice steady. I am ready. Abeni's heart shattered. No, I will not kill him. The queen let out a wicked laugh. Then suffer. She whispered an incantation, and suddenly Ayotunde's face went blank. Abeni's eyes widened in horror. What did you do? The queen smirked. I have taken his memories. He will forget everything, his past, his home, and most importantly, you. Tears streamed down Abeni's face. She fell to her knees. Please, don't take him from me. The queen remained silent. Abeni lifted her head. I will give you something in return. The queen raised an eyebrow. What could you possibly offer me? Abeni took a deep breath. My throne. The queen's eyes flickered with interest. In the Marine Kingdom, the next in line to the throne had the power to relinquish their rule, extending the reign of the current queen. If Abeni gave up her title, the queen would remain in power forever. A slow smile spread across the queen's face. Done. With a wave of her hand, Ayotunde blinked in confusion. His memories were restored. He turned to Abeni, eyes filled with recognition. Abeni, and with gladness in her heart, she rushed to Ayotunde and hugged him. And with the new deal made with the queen of the coast, Abeni gave up her chance to be the new queen so she could be with her love, Ayotunde. With his grandmother's blessing, Ayotunde got married to Abeni and they moved to another town where they spent the rest of their lives.
For more interesting tales like this, please hit that subscribe button, like, share, and don't forget to leave a comment. Thank you.